Okay, welcome to this meeting of the Accessibility Advisory Committee for the City of Quinte West. As our name implies, we are an advisory committee, and our duty is to report and advise on all matters that fall within our mandate and to recommend such actions to council as may be deemed necessary. We are not able to bind or compel council to any recommendation we may discuss or make. Do we have any disclosures of pecuniary interest to be declared? Seeing none, we will move on to approval of the agenda of the meeting for today, and we will need a motioner and a seconder. Moved by committee member Kloss, seconded by Councillor Sharp. All those in favor, motion is carried, and we'll carry on with our agenda. The next is the approval of the minutes of December 8th, 2025, that I believe each of our members has a copy of. Once again, I'll need a motion and a seconder for approval of the minutes.
Right.
Moved by Councillor Sharp, seconded by Committee Member Kloss.
And Mr. Chair, could I speak to something?
Yeah.
Thank you. I apologize. I forgot my proper glasses, so I have to wear my prescription sunglasses to those that, because when the delegations come up, I don't want to be peer rude, but I cannot see. Thank you.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion? Motion is carried, and they have been taken care of. So we will now move on to public input. If there are members of the public in the audience, any persons in attendance are permitted to speak to the committee on any issue that falls within the Accessibility Advisory Committee mandate for a maximum of 3 minutes. Public input is for the receipt of information only. Questions may not be directed to the committee for debate, nor shall any items raised during public input be debated by members during this portion of the agenda. Members of the public wishing to speak may come forward. Please provide your name and address for the record. So I believe we have one person present in chambers, and it is now time for you to address the committee.
Hello, can you hear me okay? So it's on. I'm Leanna DeMarco, and I have 2 things. One, a brief one that I'd like the committee to come across either today or another visit, because I was hospitalized
Leanna,
2 years ago.
Put it closer there.
There. And I, in the past, discussed accessibility issues around town, and I realize it's a bigger picture than most people realize. But I can only do one dot at a time on the map. So I would like to remind folks to be aware that we're supposed to be fully accessible 2025, not 2040. 2040 is federal. 2025 was provincial. And overall, it's actually not too bad out here compared to others. However, some of the places are simple and basic, and at some point I'd like to discuss which ones, because I hear that the city's still telling people that they don't have to be accessible till 2040. And I'm thinking, I'll be dead then, I'd like it done now. That's one point. On I think a good note, I want to let the committee know, and hopefully you can all guide me in terms of where I can get funding. So a few of us have gotten together to start a support group for amputees, since there are so many out here. And it actually ties into my briefing that I brought up a couple of years ago, because this should not have happened. However, it's happened, and there's nothing available for people to function. It still falls under the what I call barriers that should not exist at this level. And wondering what grants are available to the group, if any, and what we could do to get sort of get the group going in terms of recognition, in terms of any advertising, media attention, and what grants are available to do certain programs, because we already have a few in mind that will help the whole community. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Okay, you don't need a motion. We can accept the information, and if necessary, can be brought up under another portion of the agenda.
Thank you for addressing
And-
this today, Leanne. We can accept your information that you've just provided us. If you have further details, you will need to email them to the accessibility@Quinte West email address for further consideration and for the committee to consider at a future meeting. Okay, thank you.
Thank you from the chair, and now we have one other member of the public that wishes to address the committee.
Hello, Duncan Armstrong. I'm a city councilor, resident of Quinte West. We have a special occasion going on today. I know I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I'm always in trouble. As we know, Louise Smith, our deputy clerk, is bidding us adieu. And she didn't want anybody to do anything, and we said, no way, you deserve this. You've been outstanding, true professional, and you will truly be missed and big shoes to fill. So I just wanted to present you with a couple of things, if is it possible, Mr. Chair, to have her come out here, or I can come up there, whichever way. And my counselors, if you want to join me, that'd be great. Take some pictures if you want. Okay, this is a little token from some friends. I know you are. I hope this is appropriate. This is for you. I'm not finished. So since you're in retirement, you want to look the part, sort of, right?
On the beach.
Aloha.
On the beach. And then also, since you, the big price tag off it, just to make sure you look really good, the queen you are.
The tiara. Congratulations.
Or should we be? She didn't hear us. You didn't. So, no, you didn't.
She's got the crown. Tiara. Come on, Terry.
Well, you guys have always said I am a princess.
Yes, you are. Yeah, get in here, Virginia. Come on.
This is your moment. And everybody's gonna promise me that a moment like this will happen.
Yes, oh yeah.
Yes,
Right.
okay.
Already in the works. Okay? Good.
Thank you.
Enjoy. Hey, I knew you'd do that.
Never did, sir. You look hot.
That's great.
Oh, and of course, you. See you later.
Thank you, Counselor, for your presentation. It changed my agenda a little bit, but
Under 3 minutes.
Finally.
Have a good day.
Bye, Doc.
I have something later for Louise to speak, but we will get to it. Next, we will go to delegations and presentations, and we're going to have a presentation of the 2026 municipal election accessibility plan by Paige Matthews. And now it's up to Paige to speak, and I think you all have copies of this.
Okay. Hello, Mr. Chair and committee members. My name is Paige. Thanks for having me here today. I'm the elections assistant for this year's election. I'm happy to be here today to present to you and take your comments on the 2026 Municipal Election Accessibility Plan. So I'll briefly review the objectives of the plan and the development of the plan, the Municipal Elections Act, key components of the plan, and then I'll do my best to answer any questions, hopefully with Virginia at the end, and take your comments as well. Okay, so the plan is intended, of course, to highlight the measures that the city will be implementing to ensure equal opportunity for all electors and candidates this election. In developing this plan, discussions and reviews have taken place to ensure that we meet statutory requirements and that the implementation of this plan is feasible. The city's 2022 post-election accessibility report was considered in many areas when developing this plan, and I'll highlight that briefly throughout the presentation. So as you know, the Municipal Elections Act, which I'll refer to as the MEA, governs all regular elections and by-elections in Ontario. It includes specific rules that require municipalities to provide accessible and barrier-free voting experiences. Section 12.1 states that the clerk shall have regard to the needs of electors and candidates with disabilities. The clerk shall prepare a plan regarding the identification, removal, and prevention of barriers and make that plan available to the public. And then within 90 days following voting day, the clerk shall prepare another report covering those same items and make that report available to the public as well. Section 41.3 states that the clerk shall provide specialized ballots or voting tools as necessary. And then 45.2 states that the clerk shall ensure that each voting place is accessible to electors with disabilities. Okay, so to get into it, internet voting is being offered again this election. So tools like computers, smartphones, tablets, and other internet accessible devices can be used by voters to cast their vote from home, eliminating challenges for those with mobility restrictions, difficulty with transportation, visual impairments, etc. Internet voting also allows voters to cast their ballot without any assistance and provides them with independence and privacy in participating in the election, which adheres to Section 12.1 of the MEA. Additionally, all Simply Voting websites, which Simply Voting is our internet voting vendor, all of their websites are regularly audited against accessibility requirements by the Bureau of Internet Accessibility, and they have ensured that all their websites are compatible with screen reading technologies. And as you know, in-person voting is also back this election, so electors that wish to cast a paper ballot may do so in person on any of our voting days. There will be four advanced voting locations and 7 locations on voting day, with more details on the next few slides. The city will be using a vote anywhere model. This is to maximize convenience and accessibility for voters. So electors will not be directed to a specific location to cast their ballot. They can go to any of the locations. So if you live in Frankfurt Ward and work in Trenton and it's more accessible or convenient for you to cast your ballot in Trenton, you can do that. And following the goals of the 2022 post-election report and in accordance with the MEA, all of our voting locations will have the following. So all locations, interiors, and voting areas will be level, slip resistant, and well lit. We'll be bringing in additional lighting for the locations that need it. The entrance corridors will be clear of obstructions and tripping hazards and allow sufficient space for the use and operation of wheelchairs and scooters. Accessible voting areas for individuals who use wheelchairs or scooters will be at each location. And each location will be set up to allow for maximum accessibility. So ensuring things like the voting machines are a sufficient distance apart. The location of power cords, lighting, signage are all going to be considered in the setup of the room. There will be accessible washrooms and accessible parking. So we're going to be providing additional accessible parking signs and markers for the locations that need a little bit more than what's already there. And we will also have AutoMark voter assist terminals at a few locations, which I'll explain to you here. So As per section 41.3 of the MEA, the clerk shall provide specialized voting tools for voters as necessary, like I mentioned. So with that in mind, the city will have 4 AutoMark machines to use this election. They will be available at every advanced voting location and at 4 locations on voting day, 1 in each ward. That's how we're going to do it. These machines provide the following features to allow voters to maneuver through the ballot and make their choices. So there's touchscreen, keypads with braille, rocker paddle device, so voters can make selections on the ballot using their hands and feet instead of having to press a touchscreen or use the keypad. A sip and puff device, so voters can simply sip or puff into a straw-like device and make their selections on the ballot that way. And audio headphones, so voters can listen to ballot prompts and instructions. These are our advanced voting locations, and the accessibility symbols show the locations that will have the AutoMark machines, so all of the advanced voting locations, like I said. And then 1 in each ward for actual voting day. Okay, and then roving polls. So the city will also provide voting places on the premises of the following locations in accordance with section 45.7 of the MEA, known as roving polls. So an institution for the reception, treatment, or training of members or former members of Canadian Forces, an institution on which September 1st, 20 or more beds are occupied by persons who are disabled, chronically ill, or infirm, and a retirement home in which on September 1st, 50 or more beds are occupied. The dates and times of these locations will be arranged with the administrators of these facilities at a date closer to the election. And voters at these locations will have the option to vote either by paper ballot or on a tablet, whichever will be more convenient and accessible for them. And the tablets will be provided by the election officials. For transportation, the city has partnered with Quinte Transit to provide transit options for all in-person voting days, so advanced and election day. First, we have the accessibility shuttle bus, so from 10 to 8 on all voting days. Quinte Transit's mobility bus will be available for residents with accessibility and mobility needs. This service provides door-to-door transportation from the resident's home to the voting location and back. To use this service, residents simply need to contact Quinte Voting to schedule their pickup time. And then we will also have general public transit available for residents that do not have accessibility or mobility needs. Quinte Transit will be organizing the city into geographical sections essentially, and then each section will have a date and time for the trips to and from voting locations. In alignment with our 2022 post-election report, the city is ensuring that all transit information is integrated into various elections communications. So details will be on the city's webpage, the Quinte West Votes webpage, all social media channels, newspaper ads, and dedicated information cards that we'll be handing out at events leading up to the election. Voters that require assistance or support may be accompanied by a support person, friend of the voter, service animals, of course, are permitted at all locations, and elections officials are also going to be available upon request to assist voters in casting their ballot. For staffing, so once we begin to advertise staffing for the election later this summer, residents interested in applying can do so either in person or online, whichever is more suitable for them. All election staff will be trained on accessible customer service prior to performing their duties. And as suggested in our 2022 post-election report, there will also be more seating for both election workers and voters at all locations this election. And of course, candidates must also have regard to the needs of electors with disabilities during the election period. So campaign offices, election materials, canvassing must all be fully accessible, and the clerk's office has provided all registered candidates with AMCTO's Candidate's Guide to Accessible Elections for their review. Election day support. So clerk's office staff will be available to address immediate accessibility concerns at all voting locations on all voting days. Internet voting kiosks will be available at both branches of the Quinte West Public Library, so Trenton and Frankfurt, to allow individuals that don't have access to the internet to still be able to use an electronic device to cast their ballot. An election official will be available to assist any elector upon request to cast their ballot at these kiosks. As per section 12.1 of the MEA, this accessibility plan will be made available to the public on the city's website, the Quinte West Votes website, at City Hall, and at the Frankfurt Municipal Service Center, with alternative formats being available upon request. And just a quick note on our voter information letters. So they will list all voting locations and hours of operation and be available in alternate formats upon request as well, which is something that was highlighted in the 2022 post-election report. And then in the days following the election, a confidential survey will be sent to the members of the Accessibility Advisory Committee requesting feedback on the overall accessibility of the election. Results from the survey will be used to inform the clerk's 2026 post-election accessibility report, and then that report will be used to improve accessibility for the 2030 election or any by-elections within that time. And that is all that I have. Thanks for your time. I can now take any questions or comments if you have them.
Okay, so I want to express our thanks as well. Does any of our members have any questions or remarks to make at this time to Paige? I'll call on Councillor Roseblade first.
Thank you. Through you, the chair. I'd just like to say this is very thorough and very impressive, and you did an excellent presentation.
Thank you.
And I liked I was quite interested in all the different methods of the way to vote, like puff and push, and
Yeah.
like I'm new to the accessibility committee, so it's really impressive that it encompasses everybody, gives everybody the chance to be able to vote at their own will.
Yeah.
Or if they do need assistance. But yeah, it's pretty impressive. So thank you for all the work you've done.
Yeah, thank you.
Vice Chair Claus.
In the report, it says that a report will be sent to the Accessibility Committee after the election. But we won't be that Accessibility Committee after the election, right? Our two councilors, we don't know yet, but our two councilors, if re-elected, may not be on the Accessibility Committee. We'll only have our public members, and we're appointed, right? So do we exist the day after the election? It's
Okay,
it's
yeah,
not a,
maybe we'll
not a
just-
frivolous question. It's like,
Yep.
who are you actually sending a report to, and who will act on it?
Through you, Chair. So the committee does actually exist until November 15th of 2026, because that's when council will be actually formally installed in their positions. So until that time, the committee will exist. So we will be sending the survey. My information is we'll be sending the survey to all existing committee members via email, because the logistics of having a meeting may be a little bit difficult at that point, but we will still be looking for the existing members to provide us with feedback if they have it.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? If not, once again, I will express the thanks from the committee for your presentation,
Thank you.
and we will move on.
Yes, thank you.
The next is items for committee's consideration, and first of all, we have the staff report for the 2026 Municipal Election Accessibility Plan. Coordinator Smith.
Thank you, sir. Through you, Mr. Chair. So the staff report is basically requesting that the Accessibility Advisory Committee endorse the municipal elections accessibility plan that was presented. I do wish to add that on Monday, June 1st, the chair and I visited every voting location site to assess the exterior of each voting location and determine what the needs would be for additional handicapped parking signs, whether we identified any issues that should be brought to the attention of the election team before the election. We, as I said, visited all the locations. We have provided a summary of our our survey sheets to the clerk and the elections team for them to follow up on. Basically, most of our recommendations were surrounding the actual signage of accessible parking spots in the parking lots. Other than that, there were a couple locations that we have concerns about the width of the doorways. Elections committee or the election team will be looking to ensure that they are actually accessible locations for voters to attend to. So that is everything that I have to add to that report.
Thank you, and we're now open for discussion. Any discussion between the members, councilors, or questions to?
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair, and to our coordinator. I think that's very responsible and what a good thing to actually visit the sites and for our chair, Mr. Bill Smith, to attend with our coordinator to do this. Because, until you're really there, can you really know? And then and we've got time to correct any, challenges that might be there. So I want to acknowledge you, Bill, for taking that time. That's a lot of locations and a lot of work, and so thank you both. And I think this accessibility report, as Councillor Roseblade has said, is really outstanding, and the methods that I wouldn't be aware of because I don't have that, and yet I think hopefully have covered many needs of the community. So, and then we'll report back, as Betty Kloss has said, to the committee with any opportunities in the future that might have been missed. So, thank you.
Well, thank you for the compliment. It was a pleasure to go on the tour and ride shotgun. It was an unexpected, I'll say, last chance to have a good visit. And we will deal with that in a few minutes. But right now, we need a motion and a seconder that we receive the staff report and endorse the 2026 municipal election accessibility plan for the city of Quinte West. Moved by Councillor Roseblade, seconded by Vice Chair Kloss. All those in favor, the motion is carried. And we will now move on to correspondence. We have the Quinte West 2025 to 29 multi-year accessibility plan that you should have in your package. Coordinator Smith.
Through you, Chair. So this plan was presented to the committee at the last meeting held. This is, for your information, just a final copy of the multi-year accessibility plan as it has been completed and will be posted to our website.
Any questions or comments from the committee members? Seeing none, we now need a motion that the correspondence be received and filed. Moved by committee member Kloss, seconded by Councillor Roseblade. All those in favor, motion is carried. And we will now move on to new or other business. I am just going to ask that we get the new and other business sort of out of the way, and then I will pass the torch to Louise for a few minutes. my initial comment is I'd like to welcome Councillor Roseblade to our committee. Does anybody have any other new business? Hearing none, I will say unfortunately in my feelings anyways, Coordinator Smith is going to be moving on. I have had a chance to pass my remarks to her earlier on Monday, but I'm going to turn it over to Coordinator Smith now, and then I will open it up to the committee for their comments.
Thank you, Chair Smith, through you to the committee. Yes, this is my last day at work here at the City of Quinte West. Said I wasn't going to do this. Yes. It's been 30 years, 7 months, and 20 days, but who's been counting, right? I appreciate the effort and support that the committee has provided to me during my tenure as the accessibility coordinator. I do not know who will be succeeding me in this position, but I trust that you will provide him or her the very same respect and support that you have provided to me. I want to thank you all for being advocates for the accessibility within Quinte West to the benefit of all of the residents of Quinte West. And I know there's a little bit more work to be done, and I'm sure that you guys will follow through with it. Thank you for being there, guys.
Okay, I'll now open it up. I'm sure the other members of the committee have something to say, and like I said mine on Monday, so I'll give you some time. Councillor Roseblade.
Thank you, through the chair. Well, I was pleased to fill in the shoes of Councillor Sally Freeman. And this is my first meeting, so nice to meet everyone. And sorry, my first one is your last one, Louise. But I've known you for a long time. We worked together for many years. I think it was amalgamation when we all came together. And I just wish you all the best. You're going to love retirement. I know Karen and I, we all worked together for a long, long time. So all the best. And I've heard some of your exciting adventures coming up to Newfoundland, and you're moving to the west. So best of luck and enjoy life.
Councillor Sharp.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Leslie knows I always struggle with these things. Anyway, I don't know why. Anyway, I've had the honor of working with Louise for over 30 years, 30 plus. And as has Leslie, and consummate professional. And Louise took us through a lot, and she also worked in planning, saw the growth, and then moved to corporate services, and then coordinator of accessibility committee, but really was involved with many departments with support and help and knowledge. Very professional. Louise and I shared the same doctor. We've been through lots together, and I wish you the very best.
Vice Chair Claus.
I wasn't fortunate enough to work with you for 30 years, but since you have, since we've intersected on the Accessibility Committee, I know that your knowledge is sound, and working with you as you coordinate all of the programs and the expectations and standards of this committee, I know we've been in good hands, and I hope that starting tomorrow, you start this next chapter. You have a wonderful, wonderful time. Go watch the birds or something. I don't know, maybe you want to get on a motorcycle, I don't know. But whatever it is you want to do, make it happen and enjoy it all, and best of everything.
That leaves myself, I guess. I already expressed most of my thoughts to Louise on our road trip on Monday. after hearing the 30 years, I didn't know you embarked on this as a teenager. It's been quite the journey. I've only had, well, I guess 3.5 years or so, but I've enjoyed your help. You've been very good to me. I always ask for printed copies, just in case the message reads somebody I have trouble reading on a computer and comprehending. I can read it, but comprehending is another thing. I do much better on paper, and Louise has always supplied me with the paper copies. And I just wish you all the best in your retirement. And I guess I could reiterate what Vice Chair Claus said, and maybe we need pictures of you on the motorcycle. But having said that,
Through you, Mr. Chair, that's not going to happen.
having said that, it's time for a motion for adjournment, and I will look to the other committee members. Moved by Vice Chair Claus, seconded by Councillor, okay, it's a toss-up, I'll go Councillor Sharp this time. All those in favor? This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.